Well, hello everyone. Here is an interesting observation I made because I had a bug in one of my games. I have an inventory and you can navigate in the inventory using the horizontal and vertical axis. Now, if I did this with my gamepad, no problem, I could navigate. But it didn't work with the directional keys, which were also mapped to the horizontal and vertical axis. And moreover, even more so, if you were pressing one of the horizontal axis keys, like the directional keys, and then you jumped into the inventory, well, it would actually keep navigating to the right all the time, as though you never press the key, as though you never release the key. And that got me thinking, is there a problem? Well, what happens is when I open my inventory, I pause the game. I set the time scale to 0. So the only suspicion I have is that there is a difference in the way Unity treats input from the keyboard than input from the joystick when the time scale is 0. Or, to be more precise, Unity relies on time scale for keyboard inputs when dealing with Input.Axis. So let us put this to the test. I take a little very simple component with a timescale toggler that allows me to set the timescale to 0 or 1. And then on update, I just print the value of the horizontal axis. Let's see what this looks like. So if I press play, we can see that the value of the horizontal axis right now is 0. Now I'm using my gamepad. I go to the right, it becomes 1. I release, it becomes 0. Go to the left, it becomes -1. Release, it becomes 0. So now let us look at the keyboard. I go to the right, it becomes 1, but it takes a little bit of time to become 1. And that's going to be important. I release, it goes back to 0. I press, it becomes -1. I release, it becomes 0 again. Now let us toggle the timescale. Now the timescale is 0. I go right with the gamepad, 1. Go release, 0. Go left, -1. Release, 0. What about the keyboard now? Let's go right. Oh. Let's go right. Nothing happens. Let's go left. Nothing happens. So why is that? Because I first thought this is a bug. This is a bug in Unity. But no, it's not a bug. It is because of the way Unity simulates analogic input from the keyboard. You see, you can configure the game. You have the input axis. You can get input axis raw to have a value of 0 or 1. Or you could have input axis, the normal input axis. And then it's going to be interpolated depending on the amount of time for which you have pressed the key between a value of 0 and 1. And apparently this interpolation relies on time.delta time. Now let us see what happens if I change this to, instead of using getAxis, using getAxis raw. So this, when I do axis raw, there is no interpolation. Hopefully it works. I have not tested this, so yeah, this is, by the way, this is in a bigger project. That's why it takes a lot of time to compile, because it compiles my whole assembly. And let's now press play. Now, we all know how it works with the timescale of 1, so let's set it back to 0. So I go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. It's funny that I actually, even though I do axis raw, I can get values that are between. That's because I use the analogic key. Now let's go left and right with the keyboard. Oh, let's select this. And now it works. So if you are ever using keyboard directions to move and you're making use of timescale, beware that if you're using getInput, this might actually be a problem. So this is the solution. You need to use axis raw, which is badly described. It says no smoothing filtering applied, but I think it's very important that Unity in their documentation does say that this is unaffected by timescale, where getAxis is affected by timescale. Because if you look at the documentation, getAxis, Input.GetAxis, joystick input, delta, mouse movement, axis sensitivity. This is frame rate independent. Set up your input, use the options, but it doesn't say anything about the fact that it is timescale dependent. So I think that's a big problem in the documentation. Because I understand why you want to rely on timescale. You don't want the users to be able to kind of hack their way into unwanted behaviors by pausing the game to achieve instant maximum speed with their character. So I understand why they do want it to be relying on timescale, but they should document it. That's what I mean. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope this taught you something new, and see you another time.